When I said no, my doubt and demons on their way. Every endeavor I have made ever is coming into play, is here and now today.
And truly, folks, this is the moment. Thank you for being here. You're going to ring the victory bell for being here and being so amazing. And you know who else is amazing? My next guest, Rutherford Pascal. What a great name. He is a certified John Maxwell Leadership Trainer. And by the way, John Maxwell also one of my favorite leadership experts out there. He's a John Maxwell certified leadership trainer, coach, and speaker who has been dedicated his career to empowering individuals and organizations to reach their full potential. As a founder of Glass Walls Leadership, Rutherford delivers dynamic keynote presentations, transformative leadership training, and impactful coaching that unlocks unprecedented growth and elevates leadership skills to new heights. With an impressive track record of success in the pharmaceutical industry, Rutherford held key leadership roles at Sanofi Corporation, where he orchestrated the success of multiple sales teams and spearheaded the launch of Dupixent, positioning it as a market leader. His mentoring and cultivation of emerging leaders has resulted in a remarkable success rate. So without any further delay, let's welcome the one, the only, super talented, super handsome, super talented. Yes, I said talented twice. The person who walked uphill to school both ways in the snow, barefoot, Rutherford. Hey, oh, I'm sorry, Pascal. Welcome, Rutherford. I don't know why I said Rutherford Hayes. I had that name in my head, and I'm so sorry for that. Well, that's how you know it's live, when I make a big goof up, and that is totally on me. So, Rutherford, how do you feel today?
That was a great. Am I on?
Yep, you're on. How do you feel today, buddy?
I feel great, especially after that introduction. That's the first for me. I've never been introduced like that before, so that was excellent.
This is what I do. We have fun on here. This is edutainment. You know, it's educational, but it's entertainment too. So, without any further delays, make sure for those that are watching on the live, you thrive, and on the replay, you get to play again. Click that link down below so that you can connect and comment on the live. So let's just dive right in. And Rutherford, what inspired you to create this presentation about beliefs and doubts, and how has that impacted people so far?
So it inspired me because over my 30-year career with working with people, helping lead people, what I noticed was the people didn't have the full belief in themselves that they should. There was so much greatness within them, and they didn't see it. It took somebody else to tell them how good they could be, how good they are today, and how good or great they could be in the future. So that belief system in themselves was lacking. So I created this system because I saw it in so many people. It wasn't one or two, it was so many people. So that's why I wanted to bring that out of everybody, to tell them they're great.
Got it. I love that, man. And so, what practical steps can someone take today to start believing in themselves more? And, how can they turn their doubts into opportunities for growth?
So the simplest thing is to set goals. So to set a goal and then take daily steps to achieve those goals, right? That's the easiest way to do it. And the thing about these goals and these beliefs, what I want people to have is a rational belief in themselves. I don't want you to think, I do not want you to think rationally. If you're thinking rational, you will get average results. If you want to get outside results, you have to think irrational. Anything that's done great in this world, every single situation has been great. People have had things that no one else thought they could be. No one else thought they could do. There was a belief Raja, that somebody said years ago that they were going to put a personal computer in everybody's hand. Do you know who said that?
Yeah, Bill Gates, I think.
Steve Jobs.
Was it Steve Jobs? Yeah.
Steve Jobs said that. And when he said that, they would, if you remember back in the day, it was these big computers that there wasn't even a personal computer. There were these big computers. That's when about that he said that. So that's an irrational belief, right? To put it in everybody's hands. And guess what? We take it for granted now because it happened. And every single thing you see around us, all those things are irrational beliefs that somebody have. So that's what I want people to think about and have.
Yeah. Now it's funny. Like when you think about like an irrational belief, people just can't believe you would even consider thinking that. For example, electric cars. What happened 40 years ago? GM had the EV1 and it got crushed by the oil industry, I'm sure, because they didn't want EVs coming out. Well, guess what? Elon Musk came out with a pretty darn cool car called the Tesla. And all of a sudden it proved that the market does want EVs. And now all of a sudden I have 2 EVs in my driveway.
Yes.
One's a Volt, one's a Bolt. I call them Vicky and Bob. Vicky Volt and Bob the Bolt.
There you go.
And so, it's funny, but I never would have thought 10 years ago that I would have had that. Who knew? Muhammad Ali had that irrational belief. There's a saying there's a meme I saw on Facebook on Facebook saying, everyone is a champion in their own mind before everyone else sees it. And Muhammad Ali, man, I love the guy because he won in the ring with his mind first. He told everybody, I'm the champ. I'm king of the world, right? I'm the best. Yeah. He kept saying it to himself and he knew it. And guess what? Everybody else believed it, didn't they?
Yeah. So it's funny because if you remember back in the late 60s, people didn't believe, they just thought it was this brash young man.
Yeah.
Talking bad, rhyming, doing all this crazy stuff and having such outsized confidence about himself. You realize he was the original hype man. Like,
oh yeah, I love him too.
He was no one else hyped any fights or anything before Muhammad Ali. He started this thing. Now everybody does it. And for everything they do it for music, they do it for fights, they do it for everything. He was the original. Yeah, he was something else.
Yeah, I mean, I remember watching like the week before the big fight with Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather. There was a big hype session between the two of them, and they were yelling at each other point blank, like face to face. They're spitting on each other, they're talking like trash, and I'm like, what is this nonsense? This is like WWE. It's like, come on, guys, like let's see that, But in the end, I get it. It's like you got to get people excited about things. So that's what you saw my intro. My intro is a lot of fun, but it's very tongue in cheek.
Mm-hmm.
And but it gets people excited about the show and about you because you are awesome, my man. And I want that energy to rise to your awesomeness. And that's why I do that. My guests are freaking awesome. And I want to make sure that people know that. So tell me a little bit more about, when we talk about opportunities for growth. We were talking about, I was just mentioning this earlier today with another interview I had about how sometimes things don't happen to you, but they happen for you. Can you elaborate on that in terms of how we can use that as opportunities?
So everything that happens is something that happens for us. So let me give you a story that everybody knows.
Oh, I love stories.
So it's kind of, it's the Michael Jordan story, right?
Oh, yeah.
So Michael Jordan, when he was 15 years old, right, he was cut off the team as it's going to be he was trying to get off a varsity team and he got cut. He was devastated. Wow. He was devastated as a sophomore. So just to be clear, the person the coach picked instead of him, Michael Jordan, by the way, at the time was 5'10". The person that the coach picked in front of him was 6'7". So it wasn't like a slight. This is basketball. So he didn't the coach didn't go think crazy, right? But what Michael did was every day he was frustrated to no end. So every day before school, he practiced. He became the best player, not only on his team, but in league and JV, period. Then he made he made his team next year. He also grew 4 or 5 inches that summer. So he got tall, but he was the best player since then. So do you understand? So what he did, he never forgot what that moment. Let me tell you how I know he never forgot it. During his Hall of Fame speech, he brought the guy who the coach picked instead of him to his Hall of Fame speech.
That's fantastic.
He brought it to his Hall of Fame speech, and because he still used that as fuel, right?
Yeah.
His belief
exactly
in
what you
himself
mean.
was so great. He always used that, and people like him, they make things up. They think that people are talking bad about him, or they don't believe in him, or they think this way. They hear it, they don't get mad, they use it. They use that, and so that's sometimes doubt can be a benefit, right? As long as you harness it and you use it to help you grow. You know, some people say, well, the reason they did that because people didn't believe in me, so I believed in myself. I didn't care what anybody else said. That happens a lot, right?
I know that feeling. Yep.
But there's other people. There's other people, Raja, that there's somebody, 2 or 3 people doubt them. They go, well, these 5 people said I can't do it, so I guess I can't do it. Well, it's never been done before, so why should I try, right? So that's the difference.
Yeah. So for example, like J.K. Rowling, she was a laid off teacher, and she wrote Harry Potter while she was unemployed, and she was on unemployment, right? She went to almost 80 publishers, maybe 100. I heard like that number varies. I hear multiple ones, but say somewhere in the high 80s or around 100 different publishers to get Harry Potter published. Nobody wanted it until, of course, the last one finally said yes.
So
can you imagine all the no's she had to go through? No, until finally you get to the yes.
Yeah. So interesting about JK is even the person that said yes didn't really believe in it. The person that said the publisher that said yes, the reason that they published the book was because her daughter liked it. She gave it to her daughter. Her daughter liked the book, so she published 500 copies. By the way, 500 copies is nothing.
Nothing.
It's nothing. So which tells you she didn't believe in it. Except those sold out very quickly, and then it became this phenomenon. And just a small fact, she is the most successful author in the history of publishing. She made more money than anybody else in 1 or 2 years ever. So
not surprising.
That person
went to Orlando to like a Universal Studios, and we went to Harry Potter Land. I'm like, I loved it. And I loved it more than my kids did, I think, because like I read every single book when they came out, as they came out every year. For me, like I was enjoying that journey so much.
Yeah, you're right. She's a person that had this undying belief in herself. And by the way, her high school teacher told her she would never be an author. So she had all this doubt. She got divorced. Her mother died. All this in like a 7-year period about her. And she succeeded despite that. So you have people that succeed despite all of the stuff they go, because they have this irrational belief in their ability.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
You can't, if you're her, you can't listen to the noise. You just got to,
not at all.
I believe in this wizard. I believe in this wizard. I think other people will like it. I'm just going to keep pushing forward. 81, 82, whatever the number is. And then you go.
My son just wrote he wrote a horror novel, and he wrote it when he was 10 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And now, and it was supposed to be just a short story, like, like a 1-page, like 2-3 paragraphs for Halloween. But he had this idea in his head and he couldn't let go of it. So he made 4 characters and backstories and all, and some really cool twists and turns. And so he wrote a 20-page story, and I read it. I'm like, holy crap, this kid could be the next Stephen King. And so his teachers, they all loved it. They said, Evan, can you make a copy for us? And it's called The Shadows.
Wow.
And now, a couple years later, he rewrote it for a more mature age. Obviously, what you write when you're 10 versus when you're 14, big difference. Yes. So He still has the original manuscript. And I told him, like, we should sell that on Kindle just for fun after the new one releases. And we'll say,
Yeah.
like, this is the origin story of the shadows. So we're actually going to get that published. And originally, everybody was telling him the same things, like, oh, no, that's crazy. You'll never make any money as an author. It doesn't matter. And I told Evan, listen, you know, America, the best thing about America is, like, it is the pursuit of happiness.
Mhm.
You pursue and you don't stop.
Yeah.
Because
So
you don't know if you're going to get it.
So
But you should pursue.
You should
And
pursue.
so now it's
it.
120 pages, and we're going to publish it, and it's going to come out, and who knows what will happen? We have no idea, but it's exciting. And he got so fired up as a student, say, I want to do this, and I want to get a publisher, and he's talking to people to get cover art, and he wants his vision to come out. And now I read the new version of the story. I'm like, wow, this makes me think like Harry Potter, Stephen King, like something like a John Grisham novel. Like, it's going to be something great because I let him believe in himself, that irrational belief, like you're saying. And I remember going through that myself. Like, somebody told me when I was younger in karate, say, oh, Raja, you'll never be a world champion. I said, oh, yeah, we'll see. Yeah. 16 years old, I went to the world championships and I placed, took home 2 trophies.
That's nice.
And then the next thing I said, you know what? I wonder what it takes to be in the Olympics. Somebody told me, oh, Raja, it's so hard. There's no chance you'll get into the Olympics. I'm like, oh, yeah? We'll see. 3 months after my 18th birthday, I beat 400 black belts in a national East Coast championship. I made the Olympic team. So I have surprised myself because I am too damn stubborn. And so I had no idea all this stuff, that stuff I was using to hide my speech problem were the skills that I use now to show other people that you can be more. Like, you know, I there's a great quote. I'm biased because I wrote it. When I was 17 years old, in 1991 in high school, I said, all right, well, there are still those denied the gift of speech, yet blessed the gift of song. And it's multi-layered. Obviously, the first layer is this. It's about my speech problem. Like, I couldn't talk right, but I could sing beautifully. But on that next level, it's about everybody has gifts and everybody has challenges. And it's up to us to realize that we're all puzzle pieces. We just got to fit together somehow. And nobody's smart and dumb. Everybody is smart and dumb in something.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And that's all it is. So
yeah, that's great.
Yeah. If you quiz a fish on how to fly, it's not going to know. And vice versa. And like Einstein said something like that. Like, you know, you got to have the right kind of intelligence, and creativity is another kind of intelligence. Right?
Yeah. So there's greatness in everybody, just to figure out what you're great at, right? You know, the thing that we are all great at something, right? We need to find our greatness. And that's part of the thing that what we do and what I do is really say, do you understand how really good you are? Let me. So when I first became a leader of people, leading a 10-person team, people would ask me all the time when I was interviewing for a job, they'd say, so what kind of leader are you? And I didn't have a name. I don't, you just lead, you just do stuff. You don't really name it. And but I got asked it so many times that I went to my team and I said, so tell me stuff about me. What do you think about the leadership? What comes to mind? Like, give me 3 or 5 things. And then, you asked 10 people, and then these like themes came out.
Yep.
So Raja, all of the themes that they said about me, I never thought about myself.
Okay.
Never. Yeah. Because you're people me so focused, like tunnel vision, looking out, and you don't realize what you're bringing to the team. You don't realize the impact you're having. You don't realize where you're good. And there's tests you can do now. Strength Finders is a good place to find out what you're great at. But that's the stuff that I really want people to double down on, and is their strength, and really find what that is, and then utilize that for growth. Utilize that to grow their business, to grow themselves, right? And that way they stay in a positive mindset, right? A really positive mindset.
Gotcha. That's great. That's great. Yep. I love it, man. So I'm going to give you a ring of the victory bell for that, because that is freaking fantastic stuff. We have to move forward to our next segment here. Tell us a little bit about that gift that you get down below when they click on it, when we get the actual link. He's working on it, my friends. It's going to be beautiful. Tell them what they get, my friend.
So I'm putting together a 3-day LinkedIn, probably going to be Eventbrite challenge. It's preparation, intentionality, and differentiation. It's called a PID system. I'm putting it together as we speak, and we'll do a challenge, because those are the 3 things that if we do those 3 things, we will get to whatever goal we want to in life. And preparation is
beautiful.
The key. Yep.
I love it. I love it. So for those that are watching on the live, you thrive, and those on the replay, you get to play again. Give us some thumbs up, give us some hearts, so that we know that we are giving you some value. And so Rutherford, like before we shift gears a little bit here, tell me a little bit about like what I call here the softer side of series. People who join a person, not a business. So we want to get to know you.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us in this, like, sort of like the speed dating around here. Where did you grow up? How did you grow up?
Where did I grow up? So I was born in the West Indies. So I was born in this little island called Dominica. Dominica is the only non-commercialized island in the West Indies. So if you go there and travel there, which you probably won't, but if you go there and travel there, you're not going to find a Starbucks. Don't find a Starbucks. Don't look for a Marriott property. You're not going to find that. Everything there's no commercialization at all. Americans started going to the West Indies, Dominica, because of the diving. The diving is spectacular. It's spectacular, right?
That sounds awesome. I got to go for that now.
And there's
give me a good address, okay?
Oh yeah, no, it is awesome. Just telling you, it's fantastic. The first time I saw Dominica, it was in the San Francisco Chronicle. They were talking about the travel section. That's where the people were going, just because of the diving.
You know what? Next year, I was thinking about different places where I would like to have a in-person retreat. Now, obviously, because I'm based out of Philadelphia, I want to do one in Philadelphia, but I also want to do one internationally somewhere. Mm-hmm. So I was thinking, do we really want to go to Cancun, or do we want to go someplace else? Do I want to go to the Maldives? Do I want to go to some place off the coast of like Sri Lanka or Vietnam, or do I want to go to Singapore and or Abu Dhabi? We can go to Dubai. We can have a conference room on the top floor of a Burj Al Khalifa. I don't know. It might be a little bit fun and pricey, but oh my God, what a blast it could be. Yeah. So, West Indies, never thought about that. That's a cool place too. Haven't been there for sure. All right. What about growing up? Is there any movie or book that kind of shaped the way you think now?
Wow. If there's a movie or book that shaped the way I think now, so I don't think there's any, so I will tell you the movies that I the Shawshank Redemption is stuff that
I love that.
I love,
it's one of my favorites.
Usual Suspects, those 2 movies. So because especially Usual Suspects, you have no idea the ending.
So many times, what a great twist.
Yeah. So many times you're like, like my wife and I will be in a movie theater. This is okay. She's gonna fall in love with him. They're gonna do this. You can actually see it coming.
Like a Hallmark movie coming. You know what's gonna happen.
It's a script.
Boy and girl meet. Boy and girl hate each other. Something happens. Now they're in love. Okay, ending.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yes. And in Usual Suspects, you have no clue. You're in.
You're
this
in
like 3 or 4 movies.
Wondering. You are jaw dropped almost the entire time up until the ending.
Yeah. It's a really good good movie. I've watched it a few times. There's not many movies that I've watched multiple times. I've watched those 2 multiple times.
Yeah, I remember for me it was always Karate Kid got me started in karate, because I used to get bullied terribly because my speech, because I was different, because I was Indian, I wasn't American, and I had big Coke bottle glasses, and so I said, all right, how am I going to stop the bullying? I know. I saw Karate Kid. I saw this kid do the same process. He's from a different school. He gets picked on because he's new, because he doesn't have a lot of money. He got picked on for so many different reasons, but he found something that changed his life. And that's what I call a life-changing event. So for me, it was Karate Kid. And then once I got into competition mode, when I got into world championships and then training for Olympics, I was like, Rocky 3. I was like, oh, yes. I love Mr. T. And of course, I love, Rocky and the whole theme. And it's based out of Philly. So, so you got the Philly like OG connection, so I just thought, like, what a great way to train, to think even when you're down, you can still pick yourself back up. What about what's your favorite kind of music?
Can I tell you just one thing that
Sure.
the Sylvester Stallone story, to write that and what he did to get that thing written, that's a great story.
I know the story.
You
It's an incredible story. Yeah.
Belief, that's a belief in himself too, by the way.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. By the way, for those who don't know, Rocky, when he was, Sylvester Stallone, when he was so broke, he sold his dog for $25. And then he finally wrote the script for Rocky. He went through 25 rewrites or 28 rewrites. They gave him originally $17,000 for the script. He turned it down. The next time they gave him $220,000 and they wanted Robert Redford to actually play the role of Rocky. They wanted a known actor that could pull that thing up. But he said no. So he said, no. He made a horrible deal with the studio. He has to film Rocky in less than 30 days, or else he loses all the rights to it permanently. Guess what happened? He did it in 28 days. Boom. That's irrational belief. And you need that to be successful in anything in life. I'm telling you, my friends. So, Rutherford, before we move on here, just tell me real quick here, what is your favorite food?
So I'm a vegetarian, and I will tell you, I will tell you the best. This is going to be crazy. The best food I've ever had was these stuffed shells in Costa Mesa, California. I was so surprised. I was, like, you ever eat something you eat it, you like go, wow.
It's been my whole life. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was stuffed shells at this one restaurant.
You know the name of it?
Oh, I don't even know that. I know exactly I know the shopping center. I don't know the name. I don't know. I don't remember the name, but it was fantastic. I can get back there. I know if I wanted to.
You know what? I know a really good Italian restaurant. Like, hold on 1 second here. Hello, like Maggiano's. Yes, I need your 3-star like Michelin chef to make the stuffed shells that Rutherford loves. All right, good. Have that in the green room. Stat. Thank you. So that was my totally real call to the green room. So we got to shift gears to the next segment here. So
Sure.
A last question here, like Rutherford. Given our experience, what do you want people to remember about you?
So I want people to remember that if they're having doubts about themselves growing as a leader, growing as a person, they can contact me. I can help them work through that, right? I can help them get to the next level. So I told you I spent my entire 20 years of 20 years in leadership, 25 years in leadership, growing people. So I want you to think about me as somebody that grows people to places that they probably didn't know that they could get to.
This is why we get along so good, man. This is what I've been doing in karate. This is what I've been doing with my own mindset coaching, and this is why, like, first time we met, I was like, I got to talk to that guy, because like we totally vibed.
Yeah.
And as my 12-year-old said, like there's just such a vibe. And so that's what it is. All right, man. So listen, I'm going to send you to the green room with all the food, and we're going to bring you right back after this segment. So while he's enjoying all that food, man, I'm so jealous. I hope he saves me some. I want to tell you about our sponsors for the week. And this week, to no surprise, we have the amazing Potapalooza coming up next week. Make sure you grab that link down below. It'll be in the show notes and in the comments. For the Speaker Confidence Mastermind. This is my Speaker Confidence workshop I used to do for Fortune 500 companies for the past 5 years. It is an award-winning workshop. Make sure that you connect. And now it is a mastermind. We meet every Tuesday night. And just to find like-minded people, we connect, we grow, and we learn, and we all connect with each other. And one of the tools I use is called Talkadot. Make sure you grab that link. If you want to have a CRM and a way to connect with and get feedback after your speeches, your talks, or your shows, or your seminars, grab that link, because after my last keynote speech I just gave at Pfizer, I got 105 testimonials in less than 1 hour right after my keynote. So, make sure you grab that. Now, the other thing we can do is we can make a branding statement for you. If you don't have a speaker reel or scissor reel, you need one, because every year you need an updated one. Make sure you grab something like this, and here's what we can do for you.
When you throw a rock into a lake, what happens? No, there's a splash. You make an impact, and then you get waves. And then you don't know where those waves are going. Those waves are going past around the reeds, and you don't know where that impact is. So all of you out there, when you're on stage, you don't know where your impact is going to end. It's never going to end.
All right, hey folks, welcome today to 60-second Mind Shift. So in today's segment, Rutherford and I were talking about earlier about irrational confidence, about that irrational belief in yourself. Things happen to you. Now, some people think that things happen to you, but actually they're happening for you, right? Say, for example, if I had not gotten picked on and bullied, I would not have taken karate. That would have changed the scope and the trajectory of my life. Had I not had my speech impediment, I would not have sought out a way to alleviate it and gotten into singing and opera. And so that would have changed my life. Say, because I was embarrassed about speaking, I may not have gotten into cancer research, but I made multi-billion, yes, billion with the B, multi-billion-dollar drugs that helped save millions of lives. And I'm very proud of that after 26 years of being a cancer scientist. So working in R&D, I trained a lot of people and I helped them to break through that. Now, one thing I kept seeing in the corporate scape is that there is a scarcity mindset. And that's one thing I would teach managers to think about, is that if you keep acting with a scarcity mindset with your team and with your projects and with the way that you want to lead, you are actually holding yourself back. There's going to be a cap upon which you're going to hit your head and start saying, you know what, I can't get any higher because that's as far as we go. Instead, you got to think about what is the power that each person in your team has. Think about the way that when I was leaving pharma, and all of a sudden I had all this free time, that's when I launched my show. That's when I got my next second and third TEDx talk. That's when I got my books published. I couldn't believe all these things that have happened just in the past 2 years. And let alone in the past 6 months, all of a sudden everybody is trying to reach out to me to connect, and they're calling me an influencer and how I'm such an overnight success. I laugh at that because I'm an overnight success after 6 years of trying. And that's all it takes, right? But everybody likes to see the tip of the iceberg. But guess what? Everything happened for you, not to you. And the universe is out there just guiding your path. So let's bring him back and find out whether he saved me any food. So Rutherford, welcome back, buddy. And how was the food, and did you save me any?
Everything was great. Stuffed shells were fantastic, and I saved you nothing. Great,
no problem. I'll just make another phone call and get more. All right. Well, thank you so much. Well, listen. So Rutherford, what do you think about the 60-second mind shift? What's your big takeaway from that, and what would you add to it?
So I completely agree. Listen, everybody. So one of the things, everything happens for a reason. And so when there's a saying, when one door closes, another one opens. That's the right situation. There's been so many times I've told people, because they haven't got a position, or they got, the company laid them off or whatever, and they say, oh, I can't believe the company did this. And I said, they did that for you. And I would tell them that all the time. And if you fast forward 3 to 6 months later, what happened? They're in a better position. They're much happier.
They're happier.
And it's because it happens. I have a friend who I tell him all the time. I say, listen, you catastrophize more than anybody else I know. And he's one thing will happen, the dog will die, this will happen, because he just like spinning. I go, you realize nothing else is going to happen, right? Think about the great things in life. So let me put it to you in a business perspective.
Yeah.
Every single time I had a lawyer, legal, that would, a legal person would come work on our team, and I would start every conversation with them that this. I would tell them this. I would say, when I ask you something, never tell me no. And they would look at me like, what do you mean I can't tell you no? I would say, don't tell me no. Tell me how we can do it, right? Because what happens is people default to yes, no, 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 right?
People create their own self-limiting beliefs.
Yeah, exactly. Instead of saying, okay, let's see how we can do it. And if you think about, if I change their mind that way, by the way, every single, I was 3 of them, we had spectacular relationships. We always were working together to solve problems instead of me coming to him and saying, hey, this is a problem. And he's like, you can't do it that way. And I walk out of the office. It was always a way to grow the situation. So we always found a way to win because you had that mind.
That's the way it should be, man. Well, listen, we are near the end of our time, and this has been an amazing journey. Thank you so much for joining us here today, Rutherford. I've one last question for you. If someone were to give you a blank check, what would be your grand vision to change the world?
I would increase people's belief in themselves. I would, if I could increase people's belief in themselves by 30%, 40%, we would get so much more done. There would be so much more joy in not only the workforce, the workplace, but all of society in general. So absolutely, just have a greater belief in people's health. Everybody would be happier. Just think about this, Raja. What if everybody was 30% happier? Wow.
Yeah. Because one thing I found out, and this is so true, and you can ask anybody else about this, you don't get money, then get happy. You get happy, and then wealth finds you. And truly, I finally realized this in the past couple of years of my life. I finally found my own voice. I'm no longer ashamed of my speech impediment, and I gladly talk about it. And as soon as I did that, guess what? Happiness followed, and life just improved. So, Rutherford, thank you so much. You've been an amazing guest. I would just want to thank you for being here. And for everybody else that's on here, this is Coach Raja. And as always, don't fake it till you make it. Believe it and become it. And we'll see everybody on the next show. Bye-bye. All right. Last 30 seconds here. Quick 3 questions for you, and then we're out of here. Why did you want to come on the show? What was your biggest takeaway? And would you recommend me to another stage?
So why do I want to come on the show? Because I think we were like-minded, right? Mindset. I think the mindset, and I want the opportunity to get that message to more people. And if you see 2 people vibe like this, it's
Oh, you just put yourself on mute somehow.
The more we can show people that they can be something more than they can be from a mindset perspective, and I think it's positive. So that's why I wanted to be on the show. The second question was
what was your biggest takeaway or aha moment from the show today?
No, I think the biggest takeaway is just the flow we had, right? And I think
this was fun. Honestly, we could talk about this for 2 hours.
Yeah, I think I talk about joy a lot, and that's what that was. I mean, you saw both of us smiling, laughing through the entire time, and that's and I think if we can, when people don't believe it, they don't see it. You talked about sometimes they need to be the opposite, but a lot of times people need to see people having joy and success, and they will mimic that. If you're a Debbie Downer, that's going to be terrible. So I like my biggest takeaways is how I can see how you've gotten this to 342. Is that what you said? Episodes?
No, 382.
82. Sorry. I shorted you 40. So 382.
No worries. Hey, 400 coming up on December 21st. Be there or be square.
Yeah.
And that last quick question, how much would you recommend me to somebody else's stage?
No, absolutely. I would absolutely definitely recommend to get you on stage for people. And especially, so can I give you a company that I think you should probably think about going on?
Absolutely. Yeah, please do.
Oh my God, I just
Yeah,
lost
let's
it.
talk about that in post, and we'll. But yeah, thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. The
Yeah.
podcast team knows what to do from here. We'll end this here, and we are officially off the air, my